Hello everyone, Argsy here. We're on our own today on North Frisian. FFG is off enjoying some well-earned time away. So I thought I'd take the chance while he was away just to jump in and do a few short little chores here on the farm. And the first one is to take a look at our feed mixer. If you remember the last episode, I was struggling with all sorts of issues trying to figure out how to get this feed mixer to work and how to get a proper mix to make some TMR rather than just the forage we were getting. Well, a little bit of research, a little bit of a deeper dive into the map, and there's actually a custom feed mix here on this map. It's built into the map, differs from the base game, which is what was throwing me. I couldn't quite figure out what everything is, so we'll jump into the feed mixer, I'll explain it, and then we're actually going to take this one down to the store, and we're going to replace it with something a little bit bigger because of our bale sizes and the way that this custom mixture works. I think we're going to need a slightly bigger mixer just to be able to get sort of the better percentages. So I'll jump in the tractor, I'll explain all that to you, head on down to the store, and then once we've done that, we might jump over into these couple of fields. I think because of this new feed mix, we might actually need to make a little bit more hay and possibly some grass silage, and I'll explain grass silage in just a second. So, sitting up here in the tractor, there's not a huge amount to see. I'll spin around so you can see the feed mixer, not that that really matters, but we bring up our menu there. You can see the recipe for making some TMR, and it does differ a little bit, and there's actually a new icon in there that I hadn't picked up on previously. Last time I was going off the base game, mixing for TMR. So at the top we've got silage, and the feed mix that's built into the map can have 70% max silage. The next one after that is grass silage. So an additional fill type here in the map, which is grass silage. So our grass bales are going to come in handy, the ones we've got over the way there, but does explain why I think we may have to maybe make some more. I don't know, we'll see how we go. Anyhow, we can have up to 60% grass silage, and there's no minimum percentage. So we can have 0 or up to 70 for silage, 60 for grass silage. Carrying on, straw actually has quite a high percentage. We can actually have up to 40% straw in here, which is quite high compared to the base game TMR mix. After that, we've got dry grass, which is effectively hay, then mineral feed, and then down the bottom, a little bit of a weird one, you can have 10% flour. Now, I've never heard of flour being used in a TMR mix for cattle. Heard about it being used in a cake mix, but definitely not in a TMR mix. So that is basically what is on this map with the TMR and what you might have to do. So by getting a slightly bigger feed mixer, I think we might be in a bit better position to be able to mix up what we need to. So we'll get on our way. Hopefully got my beacons on. We're going to drive down to the shop, and we're going to get this one sold and pick up a slightly larger one. Okay, we are down here at the shop. So we've got the Anderson here, $46,000 we're going to get for selling that. Haven't really put any time on it, so there we go. We'll get rid of that. We don't want to get rid of the Vulture, but let's head on in here to the shop. I found our shop trigger. Where is it? Just in the door? There it is, right there. So this is what we're going to be picking up. So that's what we've been using. And there was one recently released, which added in, obviously, the 23.8 cubic meter, or 23,800 litre version, or slightly bigger one here at 28,800 litres. So this is what I thought we would come in and pick up and hopefully be able to get it to work a little bit better. It is $60,000, so it's costing us about 14 grand extra, which is not ideal, but let's get that bought. There we go. That is us all sorted. So we'll go and find this outside, hopefully, so long as we don't have any store deliveries on. No, there we go. It's spawned up out here. Get out through the door with a little bit of lag. Looks exactly the same. It's just a little bit longer and has a little bit more capacity in it. So let's go and grab the tractor, we'll get it hooked up, and we will head on back down to the farm and go and see about getting some feed mixed up that will actually convert to TMR. So just on our way back here, we've got our field on the right here. Intention at the moment is just to leave that fallow across winter, not put anything in. I know FSG's put some oilseed radish in a couple of his fields, but I think we're just going to leave it like that for now. I'm not sure what crop we're going to put in. About the only option we've actually got at the moment would be barley, and I don't know why we'd need barley for the straw maybe, but I know FSG's got some wheat or oats or something planted over the road, so we'll get some straw off him, which kind of defeats the point of actually doing anything really. So the other option is to put some more corn in, but you can look at the silage we've got sitting there already, and silage on this map not worth a penny. I think it's like $27 per 1,000 litres. In fact, take a look here on stock check. So there you go, 800,000 litres of silage will net us, actually, if we sold it now, better price than max price in March, net us 24 grand. Hardly worth it at all. Do need to be mindful though, we've got some milk starting to accumulate, so we do have to think about finding a way we can sell that. I'm not sure if we've got a trailer, or there is a couple of trailers, but we might look at possibly an alternative trailer to be able to get some milk sold. But there we go. That is what we need to think about, whether we want to put some corn in to make some more silage or whether we just make do with what we've got. Anyhow, let's get that turned off. We'll go and grab a straw bale out. Need to do a little bit of maths on figuring out what the 40%, which is what our max straw is, on this mixer, and then we'll be good to go. So we've got a couple of bales out. The hay bale on the right is 7,250 litres and the straw bale is 9,000. Now, if that mixer is 28,800 litres, then 10% is 2,880, which means 40% is 4 of that, which is a little bit over 10,000 litres. So that straw bale at 9,000 litres will go in there, no problem. But the hay bale, just trying to do the maths, we can only have 25% hay, so that's 7,250. What's 2,880 doubled? That's 4, 5, 6, 5,500, 5,700 or so, and then another 1,400 on top of that. 6, just under 7. That's bale. It's going to be touch and go as to whether it's too much. I'm kind of thinking it may be. So what we could actually possibly do, we can just pick it up obviously with the telehandler and feed it in till maybe 6,500 litres and just leave a little bit sitting on the bale, and then we can top up with silage. So let's see if we can make a TMR mix doing that. So first things first, we'll get this put up into the mixer. This is one we know can just go in there as it is. Get that dumped in. There we go. Based on this, in fact, that's going to drop off. Yeah, it is. Keep filling. Perfect. Right. So I'll go until we've got about, I don't know, what, 6,500, maybe 750 litres left per bale. What it does mean is when we come to make some more hay bales, we might have to make more bales at a slightly smaller size so they work better in the mixer. There we go. It's taking some of the bale into the mixer, so we'll just stop at about, what, 750-ish. Then we'll go and top up with silage, see how we go. Oh, that was a bit closer than I wanted. 550 litres left, right. Well, we'll just leave that sitting on the telehandler because we'll keep an eye on our mix, and if we can, we might even go and add that in at the end. Alright, silage time. Get this one dumped in. So we're going to need, what, about 15,000 litres, probably about 5 bucket loads of this. The reason I say 15,000 is because we had about 15,000. We were 54% full, so probably 14,000 or so. So it's 3.6. Maybe 4 bucket loads. We'll see how we go. Right. Fingers crossed we can get the ratios of the straw and hay down and the silage up. This is our 4th bucket. Just going to tuck this one in. There we go. I think that's just changed colour. 687 litres, so we didn't need it all. Does that change colour to TMR? Have we managed to master it? Let's go and have a look. And yes, we have. It is TMR. You can see there we could have put just a little bit more hay in, sitting at 23%. So I'm guessing based on that, maybe we could have taken the whole bale. I have to do some proper maths and actually use a calculator rather than trying to do it on my head and figure that out. Anyhow, with that done, that knowing, let's go and get some feed to the cows. Get them up to 100%. Alright, there we go. Get that opened up. And we're dumping out the other side. And the cows should be a whole lot happier now with some proper food. And there we go, 28,800 litres of TMR in there for the cows. 100% effectiveness, which is perfect. So we've still got a little bit of hay, a little bit of silage that came out of the forage we gave them last time. But yeah, there we are. They're happy. Hopefully we'll get their health up, get their reproduction up, productivity, everything is going to become a whole lot better. We've got some slurry to spread too. That's going to start to accumulate very, very quickly. A little bit there coming through from the calf barn, but not much really to write home about. So yeah, there we go. We've got it working. I'm happy to have finally solved that problem. Would you believe it? I've just done the maths. 28,800 litres. 25% of that is 7,200 litres. So if we'd put a full hay bale in, we were doing 50 litres over the mix capacity. Isn't it things, I know the game has to work in a certain way to make these mixtures work, but 50 litres, come on, it's not going to ruin it. It'll be TMR any day of the week. But anyhow, there we are. That's that sorted out. I'm happy to have that. A little bit more knowledge, a little bit more understanding. What we do need though, and what we're going to have to factor in next, is how we throw the grass silage in. Technically, so long as nothing exceeds the maximum percentage of its allowable state in the mix, then it can be 0. So long as we don't have more than 25% hay, we can just put one of these in. So what we could do is put 1 straw, 1 hay, 1 grass silage, and then top up with that silage. Or we don't put any grass silage in at all. We don't need to. So anyhow, onwards and upwards. Let's have a little bit of a think about what's going to be our most productive way, because we don't actually need to put hay in either, come to think of it. It's not a prerequisite. But we've got some fields to go and mow. We're going to go and grab the fence. We're going to go and run around those with the mower. Get some last cut of grass off. A little bit late in the year, but let's try and do it. So just thinking out loud here, what we might do, we might go down and mow this second field, and we might just do silage bales maybe in this one, and then these two here we might do into hay. So obviously we need to, well, we can windrow with this, so we could set this one to windrow it, although in fact this one isn't quite grown. Do we need to have another month of growth? November's getting a little bit late for cutting, isn't it? I think we just need to go in. It's not going to be a full growth, but let's just jump in here and tackle them now. So we'll get this all unfolded. Front and back. Power up that front one until this one drops. We'll make sure we're getting our swath dropped, so we haven't got that at the moment. Let's just cycle through. There we go, hopefully. Power up these rear ones. There we go, turn them on. There we go, that's dropping in the middle. Now the front one's going to drop in the middle. Perfect. Alright. This frustrating turning bug I have with my controller catches you out at the best times. Right, let's just see if we can go for a little bit further without having that happen. And just get into it, get some fields mowed, bit of grass cut. So we've got something to do for next time as well. Tell you what, for a not fully grown field, it's not a bad looking swath we're getting dropping there on the back. Right, let's see if we can set up some steering assist and get this field going. Alright, there we go. Steering assist set up and we are mowing. So let's jump into a little bit of a time lapse for this one. It's not going to take us long to race through here, right? We'll get this one done and then we'll be into the next. Alright, just a little section in here. Pick this all up with the front mower. Thought we might need the back ones, but we're not going to. It's driven straight the whole time, and then I get down in here and it doesn't want to go in a straight line. Alright, there we go. I think I need to play around with the dead zone on these controllers and see if I can get that to work. Right, that's us done. So we'll get this one folded up. And it's a decent amount of silage, or grass out there at least, that we're going to be able to bale up and hopefully get wrapped into some silage. Now, I'm going to head on through the gate, or out the field entrance, down the road, past the ditch, and into the next one. And we'll lift up these accumulators on the back, and we're going to get this one all spread out so we can make some hay out of it. As well as the one down the back. We've got two fields here, so we're Gonna do that for both of them. Right, there we go. Turn those beacons off. Had them on for the time we needed them on. Get everything folded out. We should be able to when this gets into a position here. Get both of those lifted up, and that should now drop us a nice big swath. So turn that one on, front one on. Try and set our steering assist up on here. 2 seemed good on the last field, so that should work on this one. That's us away laughing. Perfect, there we go. Wide swath drop, perfect for making some hay. Alright, well, not much to talk about, but we're just going to carry on, get these next couple of fields done, so we'll catch you when we're finished. And there we go, last little pass here, and not a moment too soon either. If you look at our diesel level, we're starting to blink in the, well, it's not red, it's in the orange really, but it's a little bit of a warning sign that we wouldn't want to be running out of diesel while we're all the way over here. So, that all done. Let's get everything picked up, folded up, turned off, and we'll head on back over to the farm. I'm trying to recall now, do we have diesel over there? We'll go and have a look. Can't remember whether we had a diesel bowser on this farmyard or whether we had to do it down at the shop. Well, I'm not seeing one, and we don't have diesel showing up in our inventory, so while we've got the tractor out, we'll run down to the shop and go and get it topped up with some diesel. Like I said, you really don't want to be running a diesel motor, diesel engine out of fuel. Not the easiest thing to get restarted. Alright, there we go, potential fuel crisis avoided. Get topped up here with some diesel. A bit of money draining out of the bank account as you'd expect, and then we'll head on back down, get these mowers cleaned up and put it away for winter. Well, this will get them looking a little bit better, make sure that they're nice and clean, get all the grass and everything off them, so when they're sitting in the shed over winter we don't get any corrosion or anything on them. Yeah, looks good on the front, more work to do here on the back, but yeah, it'll be good to get these put away. Good to get that grass baled and all finished off for the year. Alright, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Just put back down there, jump back in the tractor, and park these up in the shed. Alright, well there we go, short and sweet for this week. I did just, like I said, wanted to get on and just get a couple of little chores sorted out, obviously get that TMR sorted out, and some grass mowed while FSG's away. I think next week is away again, so we might get on and do our baling, maybe get the hay made, get the silage all done. We'll just see how we go. We will shoot down and just double check his pigs as well while he's away. He did ask us if we'd just poke our nose in the farm, make sure that the feeder and everything was full, they didn't need anything. So we'll pop down and do that now. But for today, as always, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.